In this video, I'll be going over how to taxi, take off, and land in the F-86. So to taxi, you just push your throttle forward, and once you start rolling, you can bring the throttle back a little bit. There's two ways you can turn. The first way is you can just use your brake pedals if you want. So if you want to turn left, you can push your brake pedal left. The other way to turn is with the nose wheel steering. So in order to do nose wheel steering, there's a button on the stick right here. So you just hold that button down, and while the button's held down, if you move your rudder pedals, it will move the nose wheel. Now, keep in mind, in order for nose wheel steering to work, you have to have the nose wheel already centered. If the nose wheel is off to the side, then you've got to use your brake pedals first to center it out, and then you can use nose wheel steering. So I'm going to push my throttle forward, and once I get rolling, I'm going to bring it back a bit, and I'm going to use my nose wheel steering to turn. Alright, now for takeoff. First, you got to set your takeoff trim. So on your trimmer switch, you got to pull it back until this little light here lights up. So the trimmer switch is this one right here, so I'm going to pull it back. And I don't know if you saw that, but this lit up, and since it lit up, I could let go. Alright, so now you got to set your flaps. The flaps lever should be in neutral here. So you're going to pull the flaps lever backwards until the flaps are all the way down, and then you're going to put it back to neutral. There's no flap gauge in the cockpit, so you just got to look out the window. So I'm going to pull it back. And they're down all the way, so now I'm going to put it back to neutral. Alright, so now for takeoff, what you're going to do is hold the brakes down, and you're going to bring the throttle all the way up. And then release the brakes. And you can use your brake pedals to keep you centered, but once you get some speed, you can just use your rudder pedals. And you want to basically pull the stick back around 100 knots. So I'm around 100 knots now. I'm going to pull the stick back. And once you're off the ground, you can raise your landing gear by clicking the lever. And you can also bring the flap lever up, and then put the flap lever back to neutral. And that is how you take off. Alright, so now we'll go over landing. So for landing, the first thing you got to do is get below 185 knots. So 185 knots is this yellow line right here on your speedometer. The reason you got to get to that speed is so you can lower your landing gear and your flaps without damaging them. Alright, so since I've gotten to the yellow line, I'm going to go ahead and lower my gear and my flaps. So I just click the gear lever, and then bring the flaps all the way down. Once again, you just got to look out the window, and once you see the flaps go all the way down, you just bring the lever back to neutral. Now you just got to line yourself up with the runway. And once you're lined up with the runway, you just kind of want to fly yourself down. After you land a couple times, you'll kind of just get the feel of how to do it. Your touchdown speed should be around 115 knots, but mine might be a bit fast because I got a lot of fuel right now. Once again, when you're coming in, you should be around 140 knots and around 115 knots when you touch down. Right before you hit the runway, you want to pull the stick back a tiny bit because you want to land on your two back wheels. After you've slowed down a little bit, you can lower the nose so all three wheels are on the ground. And you can use your speed brake to slow you down. So the speed brake switch is this one on the throttle right here. So you just hold it backwards, and as you hold it backwards, the speed brake here will open up. You can also use your toe brakes to slow you down. Once you've slowed down, you can close your speed brakes by pushing the speed brake switch forward. And you can bring your flaps back up by pushing the flap handle forward, checking over your wing. You can see they're up all the way, and then bringing it back to neutral. That's how you land the F-86. Thanks for checking out this video, and I'll see you later.